things I do for you guys just because I love you. All right, let's talk about our mastery, but first let's talk about how to do revisions so it's in the video. First things first, do you revise on the same paper? No. Revisions must go on a fresh sheet of paper because, guys, I've written on your paper with a pen. If you erase what you wrote and write it where I already marked it wrong, now it looks like what you wrote this time has been marked wrong. That's silly and confusing. Revisions always go on a fresh sheet of paper. If you want to swing around the table and not be so hard. So you're not just like back to the board. You should number your questions to relatively correspond to the test. Now, guys, sometimes, like when these, in my mind, are like A, B, C, D, but I didn't put A, B, C, D because that makes the paper look messier. Like, and up here, putting A, B made it look messy, so like I didn't do that. But like, you know, number 3. And then I should be able to tell which part of it you're doing because you should start by writing out the problem again and showing your work. Right? You should not be frantically copying answers because we're going to go question by question. Questions should be numbered so I know what you're talking about. And then revisions get stapled to the front of the assessment. So when I grade your revisions and put a new grade on it, the new grade is what you see. Right? So when I give it back to you and your revisions are on the front, the new grade is what you see. Cool? This is totally off topic, but this is my brain. Who was it that talked about Gloomhaven? Was that Ada? Yes, Gloomhaven. It's a bit heavy of a game for me. I like shorter, quicker games, but yes, you and I need to talk. And if everyone's like, Gloomhaven? No one else knows what we're talking about right now, except me. Okay, Will knows Gloomhaven. Anyone else have any idea what we're talking about? Simon knows Gloomhaven. It is a very intense game. The box of it is like this big by this big by this. Like, it's huge. Yes. Now, one of my favorite games that if you buy like the big box, it's in a box almost as big, Castles of Mad King Ludwig. That comes with the actual like physical 3D castles that you play with. And it's very cool. I thought we weren't going to judge me.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that.
So, what tripped us up in number 1? Shaded in tiles are positive. Empty ones are negative. Unless they have to be drug across and flipped. So 1A should have come down to 1 versus 3 or 0 versus 2. Really, any that had, like, you could have done a few different things. The main thing is that this side should be 2 greater than the left side. The right side should have been 2 greater than the left side. Charlie, you with me? Just making sure because it looks like that highlighter is more fun than me showing you the answers right now. In B, they actually simplify out to be equal. Yeah, I know. What? Because this was positive, then it drags up to become negative, -2. If you got 0 for the right side, you fell in the trap door because you forgot to drag and flip. And up here, these -2 just are -2. We're going one at a time. Number 2, the first one. Most of us got this, but those of us that didn't, it was because of the negative. Most of us got this, but those of us that didn't, it was because this is -34, making our answer become -31. Now, for revisions, would you just write down a new answer? No, there needs to be some work attached for what you did, especially because I'm showing you all of the answers. Don't be silly and turn in a revision paper with just answers. You'll just get it back. Guys, we must follow the order of operations. So, the order of operations is not PEMDAS. You've been lied to, and I'm sorry. The order of operations is actually... Yes, my friend worked for Apartments.com. I got a bunch of swag for free. And I give stuff away to you guys, too. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, and divide, left to right. Add, subtract, left to right. If you write it out, PEMDAS, like sideways, that isn't actually right. Now, this doesn't come into play on this one because still multiply would be after exponents. But this is how you should be thinking about order of operations. Multiply, divide is one step. Add, subtract is one step. And that's why over there on my poster, there are only 4 parts of the order of operations. There only are. It's parentheses, what's inside of them. Like, do what's inside of them. Exponents, then multiply and divide, then add and subtract. So up here, the exponent has to happen before the multiplication. This is what tripped a lot of us up. What is 3 squared? 3 times 3, not 3 plus 3, 3 times 3. So that makes 9. 2 times 9 is 18. Then we subtract 8 to get 10. Questions on 1 or 2? On 3, what tripped us up is the negative distribution. Almost every single one of us. And if you got this right, give yourself a pat on the back. Now, the second one, conversely, almost every single one of us got this right. Are there any negatives up here? No. So what's that tell me? You're all really good at working with positives. You're all really positive people. But when negatives get involved, we're still struggling a lot. So this next one, again, we're still struggling a lot when negatives get involved. This makes everything in the parenthesis the opposite of what it was. So 4y became negative 4y. The negative 3 became positive. And that's how we got to negative 2y plus 6. And D, well, I called this D. Almost every single one of us got this. Because are there any negatives? No. A couple of us made an arithmetic mistake. You accidentally got 34 because you forgot to add the extra 10. Or you accidentally wrote 10x squared just because your brain got tripped up and you put the other x with it. There were some minor mistakes that I saw. But mainly, we did really well on the positives. Not so good on the negatives. I texted my buddy Dave, who also is you'll hear a lot about Dave this year. We were fraternity brothers. We lived in the same dorm hall. Dave and I are both math teachers. I texted him this morning. He said, you need to throw those questions out. Because I texted him like this, and we always compare data, and he's like, bro, bad assessment. I was like, I know, but it's a mastery school, so it's okay. We'll all revise it together. He was like, oh, you're frou mastery school. He's jealous. Quite frankly, he's jealous. So if you need to fix these, please fix them. At some point. On the back, I don't want to say I told you so. No, actually, that's a lie. I love saying I told you so. So, I told you so. I put homework questions on the test if I go to phoenixms.org and I go to Schoology that way, because that's what I've told you guys is the easiest way. And I go to our math class and I go back in time. By the way, I wanted to show you guys, there are 2 ways that I can post YouTube videos on here. Most of the time I do it like this, so you see it when you get on. This is the way that it does direct link, but then you got to click on it to open it. I don't know, I just feel like this is one click easier. So just to show you guys. But if we jump to 1010. This problem was slightly tougher. Some of you were able to do guess and check with it. Huh. This is more easy. It's identical. And we went over it in class. So we set up equations and then put them together and figure out how to solve. Take away the extras first, then we divide. We're going to keep practicing this stuff. And this is why this was just a mini mastery, not as critical as a mastery, and I'm showing you all the answers. Right? So hopefully you guys are starting to let go of some of your stress. Sorry, Owen. Yes, it will eventually go on math, but yeah, as a mastery, yes, but if you got anything wrong, here's the answers going up on YouTube, right? Here's the it. You and I are going to talk individually, Owen. Quit making this the Owen show. Who put 20 on bottom? It's all good. You don't have to raise your hand. Trapdoor. 20 other colors. And what goes on the denominator of probability? The total. If you put 20 on bottom, you fell into the trap door. Watch out for those trap doors. 5 over 25, the total. What's a fun fact I could share? When I was in the 4th grade, I broke my own arm by landing on myself when we were playing like driveway basketball, and we had one of those little trampolines, like the gymnastics trampolines. Well, if I ask you guys to share a fun fact with me, I'm going to share a fun fact with you. So I jump off the trampoline and try to slam dunk, and I miss with my left arm, and I swung around, and then I dropped. And if this is the trampoline, it went trampoline, my arm, my body. And yes, I broke my arm. Not like, I broke but literally I broke my arm. I landed on myself and broke my arm. So there's fun fact, 4th grade. All right, so we have not much time left. And why is your homework finish KA work and more? I added a new assignment in Khan Academy to help us with exactly what I saw we were struggling on. Distribution involving negatives. So if you guys would please pull your Chromebooks out for the last 10, 12 minutes of class, and we're also going to check progress. If you need my loaner, it's up there, Charlie. But yeah, we are going to work on that negative distribution to try to get better at that before we take a mastery. Yeah, I mean, if you only had a minor amount of revisions, you might be done with it. So yeah, you can go ahead and turn it in now. I normally, second one. I normally try to give you guys a day or two to turn revisions in before I put this in math. So if you do your revisions quickly, you can beat math getting updated. Excuse me, it can go in math like it was always a mastery. Like you had gotten an M from the get-go. Yes.
For one of my questions, I didn't I wrote two of the ways to do it, and I said one of them was not it.
Well, I couldn't tell which one was
I
no,
actually got it right, and you said I got it wrong.
well, one of them was right, but one of them was wrong.
The one that has no on both sides.
Okay, but that was between. There's one above that, and there's one below
The
that.
one on the left
That's
is right next.
so those question marks don't mean wrong. Those question marks mean I'm confused. Literally, can I borrow this for a second? So, Claire is, I wouldn't necessarily say picking on me, but she is pointing out that my grading is new for you guys. I was not marking Claire's questions wrong. I was confused. I couldn't quite figure out because look, I don't know where these, which one is this pointing to, Claire?
The bottom one.
Oh, that's obvious. Not.
Well, no, but it is.
No, it's not. It's right between.
Sir.
Okay, fine. If I put a ruler across, yeah, okay, fine. It's closer to the bottom. But so guys, if I put a question mark, that means I'm confused or you didn't finish the problem. You still need to go back to it. Nice work. Thank you, Claire.
This one, I think I accidentally forgot.
I know. I think you just need to finish it. That's why I keep going. Question mark, right? Hey, the other thing we are going to do today, I just wanted you to get on Khan first, is we are checking the closure, and I'll take questions from the closure. So if you want to get your closure out, because that's due Friday. Dude, not now. It's still the middle of class. Yes, it's still the middle of class. Do you hear the announcements I'm currently making about we're also about to check closure? Read the room. Some of you guys need to learn that phrase. Read the room. Yes, I see you.
Can I do this?
Yeah, isn't that what my directions were? To staple that on the front of the... Yeah, I'm confused at what you're asking. Oh, I will in a second, but I'm going to pull up the closure answer key first. I will put that up again so you can read it. closure. What up, Joe? On like the graph paper or like your test paper? Like the graph paper that you're turning in? Yeah, I mean, you can always highlight stuff on your papers. I love color. I mean, look at my paper. I use colors all over the place. So yeah, I mean, add colors.
I really want to like make the negative symbol like
Sure, yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea. It's a great idea, honestly. So, closure. And again, still recording, so if you don't like pay attention to the check now, that's your choice. There were a couple more difficult problems on the closure. So if people would specifically like to ask about anything, you can. The expression mat up here, I don't think it was too wild. I think we ended up with an X, and then these ones cancel each other, the one on top and the one on bottom. So that positive one and the opposite of the positive one, those canceled.
I know it's not ideal, but can we put like one X?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Then you're being like me, being redundant, and kids get annoyed at it, and then I do it even more because you guys yell at me that it's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, to write 1x is unnecessary, but it's accurate.
There's one.
On 91, still playing with the algebra mats, we get rid of all the x's, and we get to 4 and 3, so 4 is bigger than 3. And I hope that if you were struggling on the closure, you pause what you're doing right now and pay attention to this for a minute. In 92, very similar to the tile problem. Cough, cough, nudge, nudge. Probably everyone should be looking at this. Owen?
I got 856 students.
Can you find where I made a mistake, or do we need to look where you made a mistake? So it tells us the number of students attending the fall play was 150 more than number of adults. So students is A plus 150. And then adults would be adults. So then, check $3 per student. So we need to fill in the students. It's the problem with me driving on the smartboard. It jumps. So just chill. We're okay. I'll freeze the screen so I don't make it jump again. So $3 per student. There isn't. So here's where we fill in the amount of students, right? Because that's 3 times the number of students, because $3 per. Then the adults, because they're adults and they should have more money, we charge them $5, so plus $5 for every adult. So we set this up. 3 distributes, 3A, 450, 5A, 8A, 450. Yeah, I don't think I made a mistake. Check your arithmetic, like check your calculations. Especially if you did like this in your head or something, like you could have made a mistake there. Guys, we all make mistakes. Like, come on, we're all humans. Simon?
I got one input too, and I think I did something wrong with like the additional section or something.
Do you have a specific question about what I did, or are you just kind of bringing up like, all right, I found that you like, are you just kind of identifying that you made a mistake somewhere? Just that more so. Because I mean, like, I'm happy to run through this again if people want, but like, this is my work. Now, here's the problem with like this being on YouTube. This ink doesn't go in the video. No, it doesn't. Yeah, quit trying to like outsmart me. This ink is the layer on the screen. So whatever I write using this tool doesn't go on the video. That's why normally I put that into Smart. And I hate fighting with the PDF jumping. So just like people watching the video, if you're like, what was he writing? Yeah, it's not going to show up in the video. Negative distribution. A lot of us well, hopefully we did better on this than the mini mastery because you're about a week smarter, right? But that's going to make this -2. That's going to make this -9x. Again, I hate driving from up there. Same thing with this negative distribution, -3x, but then +4. Any questions about 93? And then C was just a bunch of stuff to keep track of. '94, we had our tile pattern. '95, we substituted. Huh, he said tooted.
Where did you learn how to write your fours?
I thought we weren't judging me today.
I wasn't judging you. I was just asking you.
And where'd you learn to write your fours? Probably elementary school.
In kindergarten.
Yeah.
Well,
So in kindergarten in Coshocton, in a building that has now been destroyed, thank you very much.
so you learned it in where?
I got a mirror with that one. I don't know why. No, it's been so long ago that building doesn't exist anymore. Literally, it was Lincoln Elementary School. They also had kindergarten there. There was a really good playground, except it had wood mulch, so when you would fall, you'd get like wood in your fingers. Many memories there. Or like wood, not like even your fingers, you like palms. That was the worst. I remember falling off the jungle gym.
Wait, you know like those things that
Traumatic.
like on the thing and like you got like a little hook and you would like hold on.
We did not. Well, they added one of those.
Would you
like
know
when I
about those?
was- yeah.
Okay, so basically I was
You
on
got
one.
20 seconds.
So basically I was on one and like I was like on it, right? And then like I didn't have a good grip and then my friend she was like, okay, are you ready? I said no. And I was really sure so I was keeping my legs and then it went oop and like you know how it hits the thing? I did that. And I swear I just fell face first and then I got like a bloody lip and bloody nose. Oh god, it's horrible. I was traumatized. And then my
If
lips
you're
were chapped.
wanting to become a lawyer, we might need to work on making our stories a bit more concise. We might, if we're in front of the judge and a jury, and see if they
Well, I would have more
your paper.
time. Well, I would have more
Not
time.
necessarily. Well, but they'll stop paying attention.
No. I
Your story-
see.
You gotta keep them.
See, but with my
Okay,
like, it was
moving
too big
on.
section.
Moving on. Thank you. I appreciate you want to move on. Moving on, the unit rate cost per one. Right? Unit rate cost per one. So $2.40 cost for 6 pounds. Multiply that by 6. How could you find the cost for any pounds? Multiply by how many pounds you're buying. This is what your parents do at the grocery all the time. Now, a lot of times it's done for them, but when you're like planning, you gotta like think about this stuff about like, well, what meat can we afford this week? Do we want to get hamburger? Do we want to get turkey? Do we like, or do we make a vegetarian dish because we could put tofu in that? Like, hey, if you do tofu right, it's awesome. Tofu's great.
Tofu?
Yeah, that's a couple of you. I forget if it was this class or my third block class, but vegetarian. Was it in here that somebody? Yeah, vegetarian. My wife was vegetarian for years. So we need to make sure at some point and this is the problem with I don't teach every 7th grader. I need to make sure we know how many vegetarians we have so Camp Kern knows. So if we're going to Camp Kern, all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I think that's less of a concern because there's like a decent amount of gluten-free options. Like we'll get all those food allergy type things. We'll make that happen. Probably tomorrow or Friday, honestly.
No, because I like another camp I went to, they didn't give me a bun for my sloppy joes.
So, any questions remaining? Maddie, not the Maddie show. Any questions remaining about the closure? Any questions? Negative distribution, we need to be careful about. All right, you guys want to check, Con? All right, so 1A had been real excited yesterday that they were on ring 2 and they were at 23%. Look at how far they went today. This is after their check. Like, literally, they went up 20%. That's it. So 1A was kind of disappointed. You guys want to know where the other classes were at? So you guys yesterday, right? You guys yesterday, 17% of ring 2. So you were close with 1A. 3A. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I know. They're marching. 3A is doing great. And 3B, your kind of counterpart, womp womp. They're still in ring 1. They're still in ring 1. All right, do we want to check us? You think we'll finish it? Think we'll close it? Make a prediction. How far? How far in ring 3? Here we go.
17! No! 22!
All right, so as of now, and guys, I'll update the door when you guys go to lunch, because I never got to yesterday. So hold on. 3A has you guys by about 40%, right? But aside from that, you're in the lead, like you're in second place now, right? They're ring 1, they're ring 2, you're ring 3. So you're in second place. It's a race now. So remember, this is extra effort competition. Do whatever extra you want. Go to lunch. Have a great day. What was it? I heard my name, but I didn't hear what else.
We went from by far the worst to by far second place.